I've come to a really important place full of memories this morning to talk about one of the most important people who's ever been in my life. You know, some brothers you're born with or your parents give you. Other brothers just come from God, come from the universe, come from somewhere. Some people come into your life who are just pillars. Friends that are just almost more than blood, friends that change your life forever. And that was the case with my friend, and probably your friend too, Adam, who you all knew as Adam the Woo. Adam has, for those of you who don't know, I'm sure most people are finding out or hearing, Adam has left us to go on his final adventure, his greatest adventure. He's passed away. We don't know much yet. It's all still new. But he died at home. He died in bed, seemingly peacefully, not afraid. Funny enough, like him and I have talked about this day many, many times. I never wanted to live through it. But we talked a lot about this stuff, weirdly. And I didn't want to get out of bed today. I didn't even really want to be doing this, but Adam is one of the most important people in my entire life, and one of the closest friends that I have. And there's something important that I just felt like I needed to say. I'll have a lot to say about Adam, as I'm sure hundreds and hundreds of people will. He touched a lot of lives, like many, many lives. I'm not just talking about through the videos and through the obvious, but behind the scenes, always like such a force in everybody's life who was privileged to call him a friend or even just know him casually. The person that would literally just go to bat for you, always had an encouraging word, never anything negative to say. And so I'm sure I have a lot to say about him, and a lot that I'm going to say. I'm not ready for all of that. But I woke up this morning with this voice in my head like, get up, get out there. You know, and me and his friends have been talking a lot. All of us calling each other yesterday. Unfortunately, having to break a lot of the bad news. Thankfully, he has a lot of friends back in Florida right now that are trying to help out with his parents, with the house, all the practical things. You know, and I've just been out here sharing the news, commiserating with people, crying a lot, trying to wrap my head around it, you know, and all that stuff. But there's one thing that I wanted to say now, just before everything gets carried away, and we've already seen like TMZ and People Magazine and all kinds, the news reporting about this stuff, which for the record, he's absolutely laughing. I can just picture him, you know, what the heck is this? Can you believe this? I wanted to pick up my phone 20 times. I picked up my phone yesterday just to text him, you know, like, can you believe this? He would have hated it, the attention and the sentimentality, and he would have loved it and relished it. I'm sure he does love it. It was difficult. We're all calling each other, having to break the news, having to post about it or say anything, but rumors had already started going around and stuff, so I just wanted to be clear. The rumors are true. Adam's passed away. There's just one thing before everything gets out of control. I know so many people are going to have so much to say from their heart. I was reading a lot of the comments yesterday after we felt like we had to post something and put it out there and let people know, because so many people did love Adam. And I feel like, you know, he was always pretty transparent with the world and want people to know what's going on, you know, from his friends and not just from rumors and things. And sorry, I keep cutting. I can't. It's a little difficult. But after a few of us posted some things and some pictures and stuff yesterday, there were just so many comments and so many people saying so many wonderful things and stuff that I know just would mean the world to him. he knew he had a big impact, but I don't think he realized just what an impact he had. Not just on his friends, but just on so many strangers around the world and everything. There's one thing I kept seeing over and over again from people, which was that they're so sad and stuff, but they kept saying, you know, I really felt like I knew him. I never met him, but I really felt like I knew him. And I just wanted to say before anything else, because I feel like he'd want you to know this, and we've talked about this many times, you did know him. Adam gave the best part of himself to everyone, to every friend in his life, to every person with a little channel that was like, hey man, I'm really inspired by you. He'd be like, let's film together, let's do something. Adam gave so much of himself, and then gave the best part of himself in those videos, in those adventures. He, maybe it's better to say it like this. I met Adam more than 15 years ago when we were both just in crappy punk bands. Nobody knew who we were. No one knew who he was. He's working at a feed store, living in this apartment in St. Cloud with one towel, as my band fondly remembers, because when we stayed with Adam, we all shared one towel together. And he quit that job at the feed store. We were on tour together. He's making these little YouTube videos, and we had been friends on the internet for a couple years before that. We made friends because of Back to the Future. And I started being friends with Adam because I had this Back to the Future website and some other stuff and my band and everything. And he started out as like just like a fan in a way. Like, dude, this is awesome. Your music's awesome. Your thing is awesome. And that would be like the theme of me knowing Adam for the rest of our time together. With everyone he met. If he met someone who was into something creative, someone who made art, somebody who had a band, made music, anything, he was just the most encouraging, dude, this is so cool, awesome, whatever. Well, like I said, when I met him, he hadn't done really much of this stuff yet. And we were making silly videos and stuff on tour. And he was like telling me, dude, I think one day I'm going to quit my job. I don't know how I'll make money. Keep in mind, you couldn't be monetized or anything like that. Dude, and he had like, 100 subscribers. I'm going to quit my job. I'm just going to do YouTube full time. And everybody in the whole band or anybody who was around was like, are you insane? Like, have you lost your mind? I was like, dude, yes, awesome. And like the first time we went to Disney World together, like we had no money. He would literally go to Cosmic Rays Starlight Cafe and grab paper cups and put pickles and like free tomatoes and stuff in them. Like, it's a free salad. And he always talked about like, dude, it'd be so cool if like I could get to 1,000 subscribers. It'd be so cool if 1,000, can you imagine if 1,000 people saw a video, or like you could make 1,000 people laugh? And I got to see him. It took a long time, actually, that first 1,000. I got to see him drop out of the whole world. I'd reached that point, like just focus on nothing but that. Get to 1,000 subscribers and go, dude, I've made it. Quitting my job, I'm moving into my van. Came out here to California. Spent many weeks living in my driveway or on my couch. And one place that we came right away was here, because he had always dreamed, dude, one day I'm going to see all the Back to the Future spots. We got to do videos. And over the years, I got to watch Adam, like a psychopath, zoom in and focus on one goal at a time, one little step at a time, and hit every goal, every dream, everything he set out to do. He would pursue like a madman and make it happen. Or just like a couple of kids in punk rock bands, just a couple of dirty average Joes, a couple of scumbags, as Adam would have put it, just nobodies. Pretty soon after he was doing that, he was really always on me. Like, dude, you got to do it with me. Come on, you got to make videos with me. Dude, be in front of the camera. He changed my whole life. But I watched him build his new life, the life that everybody out there would get to share in eventually, from absolutely nothing. and relentlessly get up every morning early and pursue his dreams every single day. And not just pursue his dreams, but every other weirdo, wacko person with some kind of weird vision or idea, just to watch him do anything he could to encourage them to keep going, keep building. You never know how far you can go unless you keep trying. You got to get up. One of his big things, something that he call me often and tell me, quit talking about it and do it. You know, he's not the kind of person who would suffer sitting around talking about plans for too long before it's like, dude, let's get out and do it. I can't tell you how much just having that person in your life, someone who believes in you absolutely more than you do yourself, that is willing to just push and, you know, share everything he's learned with you. Like I say, he started out as my fan. Dude, you're cool. Back to the Future thing. I've never been. I want to go there. And then became like not just a friend who was like your biggest fan, always rooting for your biggest cheerleader, but then like he was, you know, got famous almost and just so successful with what he was doing and always turning around and trying to pull you up. He was very much like the older brother that I never had. And because we both came from nothing, nowhere, kind of the same nothing, nowhere, just to stay close all these years and just to always have that friend in your corner was just something I will never forget. No, hopefully we'll never lose. And I just want to say, like, I've never met anyone like that. I've met thousands and thousands and thousands of amazing, awesome people all over the place. And I've never met somebody as genuinely passionate about pushing people, his friends, about encouraging them, about giving. When Adam lived in a van and had no money, like I'm talking, he was maybe making $100 a month, right? Max, and driving all across country in a gas-guzzling van and trying to eat and live off of that. He'd come to my house where I was like drinking like off-brand Mountain Dew. He loved telling this story. Drinking off-brand Mountain Dew, like Citrus Drop or whatever. And he'd go to the grocery store and buy like a 12-pack brand name Mountain Dew. When he was making like, I don't know, $400 or $500 a month. Nothing. He was like, dude, you want to go to Universal with me? I said, I don't have a pass anymore. I couldn't afford it. He's like, dude, I'll buy you a pass. Adam would put his time, his effort, his money where his mouth was for his friends, even back when he had nothing yet. And he's never stopped doing that. He's touched a lot of people's lives, encouraged so many people, really, really tried. And I just think he's just succeeded in so many ways. I know anyone who had him as a friend in their life will swear to that. He didn't have a crazy dark side. Yeah, a lot of people said a lot of stupid stuff about Adam. There was no darkness in that person at all. Nothing but wanting to encourage people. Nothing but faith and he just really always exemplified to me, do unto others. He really did treat people the way that he wanted to be treated. He wasn't always the most comfortable with strangers. Just he'd feel awkward. He wouldn't know what to say or, you know, what people wanted from him sometimes. And so he had some awkward interactions with people, as he would be the first one to tell you. But he really, just speaking from the inside, everybody that watched those videos, everybody that was kind, everybody that reciprocated that encouragement, that enthusiasm, he really, really loved you guys and appreciated you guys. And for many years, he would tell all of us that were his friends that, dude, when I turn 50, it's too much. I'm going to disappear off the internet. I'm going to buy a house in the middle of nowhere. And I'm going to disappear and retire. No one's ever going to see me again. And he could never do it. And I would tell him, dude, that's never going to happen. in a million years. That is not going to happen. Dude, yes it is, you'll see. And Adam's stubborn, right? Like once he set his mind to something, it was like going to happen. But this one thing, he could not ever do or walk away from. And I think it's because, I know it's because, all of you out there leaving those comments saying things like, I never met him, but I feel like I knew you did know him. And for all the people that are saying like how much Adam meant to you, or his videos meant to you, or just that distraction, that everyday thing of pulling you out of your own life for a little bit, how much that meant to you, he really appreciated that, and that was a big part of his motivation. He talked a lot about maybe next year doing some meetups and things. He wanted to meet more people, wanted to be on the road and meet more people. He was shy about it a little bit too. Anyway, I could talk all day. I could talk all day and say so many more things, and I will, about my friend. But I think that's just the most important thing. Sorry, that I wanted to say now is that he may not have really realized, I don't think, just how big of an impact he had on not just his friends, but everybody. But he knew some of it. And he really, really appreciated what he would have called the circle of goodness. Putting the best part of himself out there in the world. I mean, I would always be on him about, dude, just settle down with someone. Get a cat, a plant, something. I don't want you going home being alone at the end of the day. And he's like, dude, I'm on a mission. I'm here on my mission. One day, when I can't do it anymore, I'm going to be laying back in my bed as an old man, and I'll be able to watch all these adventures. I'll be able to sit back and go, I've done my duty. I just wanted to say that I think that's what he's doing now. And that without you guys watching him, encouraging him, and so many of us, so many of his friends and everything else, you guys changed his life. And I watched that change. I had a front row seat to going from working in the feed store, living in this tiny one-bedroom apartment, quitting his job, all of his friends, even his family, at first thinking like, "Are you insane? Have you lost your mind? When are you gonna come back and get your job back?" kind of thing. I go from that to just making everybody so proud of him, just going light years beyond what a couple of old tattooed nobodies should have ever seen or experienced, whatever you want to say. And he couldn't have done that without all of you, and he knew it. And he was really grateful, and just I just wanted to share that. I just wanted to say that you did know him, and that whatever other stupid stuff people said who didn't know him, there was a lot of light and a lot of good in that person that he wanted to share with the world, and he did. And you did know him, and he would have considered you a friend, because that's how he was with everybody. Just one of the best people I've ever known. Has not really hit me. What a loss. What a hole there is now that can never be filled by anybody else. There's only one Adam. But I'm mostly worried about his family. So, if you're of the praying variety, say a prayer for his mom and his dad, his sister Faith. It's going to be a hard time for them. Oh, it's raining. All of our thoughts now are with them at this moment. I'm sure more stuff will come out, and we'll all have a lot of time to grieve and remember. But I just wanted to say that, and just don't forget that he really did appreciate and love everybody out there that gave him so much good back. And from the bottom of my heart, from the bottom of my heart, just as his friend, no one can speak for him, but just as his friend, thank you. In like the early days when we would talk about this stuff, I'd be like, dude, you're crazy. You spend every day of your life, you're going wild, making all these videos. He'd say like, yeah, you know, but if I ever do have a kid or something like that, you know, it'd just be so awesome to leave all this behind. People could see what I was doing and where I was. And like I said, we talked about this day. He knew this day would eventually come, as it'll come for all of us. And he knew that he was leaving something behind to share, the best part of himself. And just for everyone who loved him and everyone who gave him that kindness back, just thank you. And we all lost a friend, and we all lost somebody huge that just can't be replaced. So anyway, sorry for blubbering a little and everything, but like I said, I just woke up this morning, just heard his voice in my head, sort of just get up. And me and some of his friends, Kevin Heimbach and some other people, talking about like that's what he'd want us all to do, is just like keep up, get up, keep filming, keep going. So there'll be a little interruption around here for a while if you're a regular here, but none of us who knew him or had the benefit of Adam being your friend go, dude, never give up. Whether you had 30 subscribers or 300,000 or whatever it was, or anything in between, you know, I think we owe it to him just to never stop, never give up. And if I could pass on one more message, it would be that, you know, if you have a thing, a dream, a craft, an art, something wacky that you're doing that maybe nobody believes in, maybe nobody ever will, don't give up, you know, do it for yourself. Never give up, never surrender. I'll miss my friend. I'm sure you guys will too. And I'll have more to say later. We had a lot of plans. He had a lot of plans for next year, and we had a lot of plans for meeting up and doing certain things together that I hope I'm able to still do. And we got a lot to say and a lot to talk about in the future. But for right now, like I said, everything's still early, and his family are figuring things out. His friends are trying to be supportive and figure things out. And so when we know more, you know, there'll be more to share later, more memories to share, more stories to tell. I didn't know what to do with myself, so I just came here. It's the last place that we got to hang out, and one of the first places that we hung out. And I think it's just time to remember. Anyway, I've said my piece. Thank you all for putting up with me and for loving my friend, changing his life, changing all of our lives. And he's done his duty. He's gone home to sleep well. Not sure what else to say. Just procrastinating, I guess. He was a good man, and he really appreciated and loved you guys. And that's all I wanted to say. So, thank you. Hope you guys have a happy holidays. I'll see you sometime after. Bye for now. Can I just say one more thing? There's nothing wrong with tears. And it's definitely a time for them. But what he would want, go out and get a piping hot caffeinated beverage and go out on an adventure. That's what he would want. And the last time I saw him, I said goodbye, went out to the car, and came back, grabbed him, told him, hey man, I just want to say I love you, brother. And tell your friends, you know, tell your friends while they're there. Make it weird. Tell them how you feel about them. Okay.